we do like to shoot the bull around here, but we also talk stock.
We do.
And let's talk about that. That's going to be a big topic here today is the stock market. What's been happening with the major indexes? And we had a roller coaster week this week. I mean, it started out a pretty negative red week for the week, down Monday, down Tuesday, a big gap down Wednesday, and then it started roaring back. Thursday was a pretty solid day for the market, especially for the S&P 500. The NASDAQ showed kind of the same thing, down Monday and Tuesday, and then came roaring back Wednesday, a big day on Wednesday, a big day on Thursday, and the Dow Jones was a little bit lagging. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, both negative days. Finally, on Thursday, we seen some green in the pocket that day for the investors. So what's been happening? Why are we seeing some of these markets do different things? Why are we seeing such big moves up and down every week? What's happening?
Yeah, you know that game Pong? Remember that was
I do
like one of
remember
the
on Atari.
First, yeah.
That was
You just
Atari.
watch that ball go back and forth.
Boy, I think we just showed our age there, didn't we?
Well, I certainly did. But that's kind of what's been happening with the market. The market has kind of taken on that persona of the Pong game, and we're seeing the leadership in the market's shifting kind of on almost an extreme basis back and forth between the cyclical and value stocks, which are kind of the economy reopening stocks, and then the technology and the growth stocks. You know, those tech stocks, that's what really took us out of the recession back in 2009. That's what people really have relied on and felt pretty comfortable investing in until recently, you know, after we went through the pandemic and it looked like the economy was starting to come back, then people started to rotate. But tech just keeps coming back. You can't put it down. You know, if you look at the performance, if you go back 3 months and you look at the relative performance of the markets, the S&P is made up of 11 sectors, right? Technologies included, energy and financials over a 3-month period have been the leader. And if you look then just over the last week, technology is now the leader. Financials and energy are closer to the bottom. Same thing on one day. If you look at today, technology is the leader. Energy is the lowest of the 11 sectors, with financials being probably about the third lowest. So we're seeing this movement back and forth, and we will continue to see it because there's a lot of confusion out there. You know, people on the one hand are looking at the prospects for a strong economic recovery. And then on the other hand, they're looking at that being maybe a bad thing because if the economy grows too fast, the Fed's going to step in, maybe raise interest rates and cut back on their asset purchasing. The one thing that really is of concern now to people is inflation and the impact of inflation. You know, and for a lot of people that are current investors and that are part of the new generation of investors that have really entered the market in mass here recently.
The young investors, that
the
is,
young
too.
one, they
Under
have
35.
Absolutely, by the millions. And you know what? They have never been in a situation where they've experienced inflation.
I believe that age group has got into the market. The increase is like 200 and something % year over year on the number of the younger people getting in the market.
Right. You know, if you look at the new accounts that are being opened on a daily basis, we're talking hundreds of thousands, you know, with platforms like Robinhood and similar platforms. So there's a lot of people that are getting money basically from the government. If you look back, in fact, if you go back over the last month, 1/3 of all disposable income came from the government. So you got a lot of people that have this disposable income that they didn't have before, and they're throwing it into the market. And what they have seen is a market that, in their mind, appears to be continuously going up with nothing to stop it. And well, inflation is one of those things that could have a big impact on it, and not only on the market, but also on everyday life. You know, the cost of almost everything goes up. When we have inflation, we talked about this last week, Josh, about some of the commodities. You got not only wage inflation, but you've got commodities. You know, lumber has been up over 200% since August of 2020. Corn up 138%. Well, do any of us use corn or lumber? Any of those
single
things?
day.
Absolutely. And so that really impacts the cost of everything. Lumber impacts the cost of housing. Corn impacts the cost of food. So you've got everything potentially going up. And you also have companies now then having a bigger drain on their profits. So maybe they go through layoffs, there are fewer jobs. And then the cost of homes, everything goes up. So the impact of inflation can be huge. And unfortunately, a lot of people that are out there in the markets now have not faced it before. And I think a real concern is that they are throwing a lot of money in the market, and a lot of it is borrowed money. A lot of margin accounts have been set up and without protection. So it's really important. Number one, how do you protect yourself from inflation? And that's really one of the things that we talk about in our classes. And I know you're going to be talking about these classes, but this is a great time for you to learn how to protect yourself from the potential the potential impact of inflation.
You're exactly right. I mean, the crazy thing, and you mentioned earlier that there's so many new people getting into the markets, which is great. People need
it's a great thing. Absolutely.
Get into the
We'd love to
markets.
see that.
They should do that. But you got to remember, these people that are getting into the markets, and these might be some of our listeners, are new, and they haven't learned the techniques and strategies. They don't have the rules. They don't have the tools to make those decisions. But it comes down to learning those rules and tools, putting a plan together like you had mentioned, and then doing that with confidence. And that's what you talk a lot about in the investing classes that you teach right here at the Academy. And if you are new to the markets, now is the time to learn the new tools, learn the new skills and rules to get into these markets. Al, I kicked off the show here earlier, and I said we like to have a good time on this show. We shoot a lot of bull, but we also talk stocks. So coming up next, I want to analyze a few different of the high-flying stocks, the popular stocks, the Netflix, the Facebooks, the Apples, Teslas, and just see what's happening there, because I know a lot of our listeners invest in those. We will be right back.